Hi, Derek here again. In our last video, we looked at creating 5-year goals, and that's basically a helicopter view or a big picture view of what you want to achieve over a longer time frame. So once you've got your 5-year goals set, you then need to break down the yearly milestones that you need to achieve along the way to get you to that, make sure you're achieving that 5-year goal. So we looked at goals for personal, academic, sports and financial. So in this video, what we're going to do is have a look at 1-year goals or creating a 1-year game plan. And just as an example, we're just going to focus on sports, okay? So the principles apply across all areas of whatever your goal setting for. So we'll just focus on sports as an example. So the first thing you need to do is set your goals, okay? Understand what it is that you're aiming for, what is that vision. But just having goals is not enough. Goal setting is really a 3-step process. So once you've set the goal and you know what you're aiming for, you then need to put in place a game plan or a process that you're going to follow that's going to have its own milestones to get you to that goal. And then even down to the next step is it's not just a matter of having a process that you're going to follow. You need to look at what are the habits that you need to put in place, what are the things that you need to do on a regular basis that's going to allow you to execute effectively on that game plan and ultimately hit your goals, okay? So a bit of a circular process as we've mapped out there. So if we come down to sports and look at your 1-year game plan as an example, there's probably 2 areas. My girls are field hockey players, they're into team sports, so I'm going to use that team sport environment as an example. So you're likely to have 2 things that you focus on. You've got your club goals or the team goals that you want as an individual and then as a team, and then you're going to have your representative goals. Now, if you're in an individual sports, you might have PB goals that you're looking at. You might have minimum qualifying times that you need to meet to get into particular tournaments or events or qualify for teams that you're looking to make, basically. So if we start with club, because in a team environment, basically club typically starts before your rep season starts. So you're basically going to be having finals later in the year. You've got your in-season games that you need to go through week in, week out. But before you get to there, you've got your pre-season process. So getting yourself into condition, getting your fitness up, getting your skills up, so that when you go into the grading and selection process for your club, you're in the best possible spot to hit the levels or be selected in the teams that you're looking for. And then obviously once you're selected, you're then getting into that regular process or game plan of week in, week out. You've got your set training periods, your set training times. But what we need to do is we need to look at all of this at a more granular level than just over a 3-month period. We need to look at what are the habits that you're creating on a weekly basis. So that'll be the next video, is actually breaking these time periods down into an even more detailed game plan for those shorter terms. Okay, so from a representative perspective, you're obviously looking at when is your representative trials on, and then what do you need to do to prepare to put yourself in the best position to be selected there. Once you do get selected in your rep team, then you've got representative training, and then obviously onto your tournaments that you're going to compete in at that representative level. Okay, so we need to break all of these different time frames down into a much smaller game plan. What are we going to do over the next month? What are we going to do over the next week? And what plan do I have for this upcoming training session? Okay, so in the next video, as we start to break this down even further, we'll start to look at mindset and preparation and habits, and just how you're preparing to train, how you're preparing to start your games, warm-up sessions, that sort of thing. Had a really interesting experience with the girls that we're taking through the pre-season selection process right now. We had pre-season selection on Friday night, It was really interesting to see some of the girls come onto the field to warm up and how they went through that warm-up process. So I'm going to dig deeper into that as an example in the next video, because when it comes to habits, you're creating habits all the time, and you're either creating good habits or bad habits. And some of those habits are deliberate. You're deliberately focused on and creating them. Some of them you're just inheriting because you're not giving much thought to it. Okay, so it's about being conscious of having a plan of action for each training session, each game, okay, and some mental triggers for you. So we'll cover off on that in the next video. If you want to make sure that you don't miss any content or any of these videos, make sure you're subscribing to our Facebook page, so like and follow us, but also go to usasportscholarship.com and just put in your email, subscribe to our video series and the other information that we put out around mindset and high performance and USA Sports Scholarships. That way you're kept up to date.